grief. Hey, hey, everybody. Welcome to the GreenRoom YXE here. Season 2. It's December 7th, 2021. Coming to you live from Saskatoon. I'm Leslie.
I'm Johnny.
And we're a live show. However, you can check out the No YXE YouTube channel for our previous shows. I hope everybody had a great week. We've had some pretty cold temperatures here the last couple of days, but we're supposed to be warming up tomorrow. Yay. And that's right. And we did a little Christmas shopping today, but we're not done yet, and it's starting to get down to the wire. So it's been so busy here in Saskatoon on the weekends. It's been kind of crazy, insane out there. Just a ton of people probably shopping, and it's just not pleasant to shop on the weekends. So we try to get it done it's fortunate that we're able to do it during the week. But we got a lot left to do, and let us know out there if you've got Christmas shopping left to do and what you've got left to do. And we're almost, what else did we do this week?
No Wi-Fi.
We have no Wi-Fi.
No Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's been, weirdly challenging. What did Rodney say? Wait a second. I just saw that flash up on the screen there. Yes, I'm finally getting to watch the
live feed.
Hey, Rodney.
Mic check 1, 2.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, it's always.
What is Johnny drinking? Yeah, what are you drinking?
It's always vodka, but tonight it's got some pink lemonade. No, grapefruit.
It looks very refreshing.
Pink
it looks
grapefruit.
Summery. He's trying to make it summery here. We're almost done. Get Back.
Usually it's vodka lemonade, but
that's right. We're almost done. Get Back. We only have like the last half of I think episode 3.
Yeah, and it's almost like we don't want it to end, so we're not letting it finish.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
because we'll be watching it again as soon as it ends for sure. But if you're a Beatles fan, of course you have to watch it. And even if you're not a Beatles fan, it's really incredible. It's so well done. It's Peter Jackson and doing it, of course. So he's done an amazing job. So music, current events. What's going on in the news these days? What's going on in the news these days, Johnny? Oh, Drake pulled. I wanted you to say it.
I wanted to say that Drake pulled his nominations out of the 2022 Grammy Awards, and he hasn't given a reason why.
Yeah, he has a bit of history with the Grammys, I guess. In 2019, he declined to perform at the ceremony and criticized the awards because they shut out his fellow Canadian buddy, The Weeknd. We've got a Drake quote here, so maybe he's just done with it. I don't know. He said, "I think we should stop allowing ourselves to be shocked every year by the disconnect between impactful music and these awards, and just accept that what once was the highest form of recognition may no longer matter to the artists that exist now and the ones that come after." And it's funny because everybody loved the Grammys when we were young. When we were teenagers, really, we liked to watch and see what was going on.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of bands being broadcast on television. So getting a chance to see your band that you like maybe be on the Grammys
was exciting.
Right?
So we loved the Grammys when we were younger, of course. Our son, he's 15. He has no interest in it. So it goes to show you how they're out of step. Obviously, if they're not 15, 16, 17-year-old.
In the last 20 years, the music business has changed like around completely, and the Grammys is still the same. So, there's something wrong, right? But
yeah, there is something.
And then there's so much more, do-it-yourself indie music. And so these are just usually major label acts that are voted for and nominated for because they're part of the mainstream music industry.
Right. But you brought up a good point too. We didn't have that access to see a lot of bands. Like everybody can watch whatever YouTube video now with their favorite band. So what's the point in watching the Grammys? That's a really good point. This day in music history, moving right along, 1963, the Beatles' second album with the Beatles started a 21-week run at number 1 on the UK album charts. It replaced their first album, Please Please Me, which had been at the top of the charts since its release 30 weeks previously. Also in 1968, the Beatles' White Album started a 7-week run at #1 on the UK chart. And 1971.
I just read an article on Dave Grohl's top 10 albums, and the White Album was his #1 album.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a pretty awesome album. In 1971, Paul McCartney's new band Wings released their first album, Wildlife, in the UK. And I found this kind of bizarre. The LP would not be issued in the US until 1980.
Must have been on a slow boat.
That's a big delay. Yeah. In 1999, the recording.
I have that on vinyl back there.
Do you? But you said you didn't know that one as well.
I don't know it as well as
well, we have to listen to it. 1999, the Recording Industry Association of America launches a lawsuit against the online file sharing company Napster, seeking $100,000 in damages for each song copied. Wow. And then birthdays today in history, or I guess this wouldn't be history, it's just birthdays, musician birthdays. Tom Waits, 1949. It's pretty cool that it's Tom Waits' birthday today because we have a guest who loves Tom Waits. And so we're going to bring her out right now. Our guest tonight is a local musician, singer, and a really great friend. You might have seen her sing Joni Mitchell at the Jazz Festival. She also has a great band called the Whiskey Jerks, and they play across Canada. She plays in Ray Elliott's band as well. And we put out an album together, Gillian and myself, Johnny producing, and as Gillian Snider and Leslie Stanwyck. And now she's taking on Janis Joplin this Friday night at the Capitol Club, which I'm sure will be amazing. I know we're going to go and check it out. And I need to add also that she totally rocks out the accordion, which is like a lot of people will be like, what? How do you do that? But she rocks out the accordion. So please welcome to the Green Room YXE, Gillian Snider.
That's a wonderful introduction. Thank you.
Yeah. How much
my brain's spinning. I'm like, Tom Waits' birthday, Tom Waits, Grammys. Tom Waits never has been nominated for a Grammy. I don't think he ever has. He's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, possibly, but never been nominated for a Grammy. And when Drake said that quote, and it's Tom Waits' birthday, I'm thinking, wow, that's exactly in line with, Tom Waits. He's walked to a beat of his own drum and has, he's an uber.
No kidding.
Famous. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to digress from the intro.
No, so true though. It's so true.
It is true, and I adore him. And we need to get the Tom Waits birthday, Saskatoon and surrounding area bands to come and do, and like you said, other musicians too.
I know that would be. I love that idea. we got to do that his next birthday next year. Yeah.
And then you mentioned the White Album, and I have something to say. When I was in grade 10, I got a Styx album and a Supertramp album. Not that I'm dissing those bands because I love them. And my sister got the Beatles' White Album on white vinyl. I traded both of my records for that Beatles album. I still have on the shelf, like right over there.
Oh my gosh!
Awesome.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's
funny. That's funny.
Have you watched Get Back yet?
Oh yeah, Baby and I are watching it. It's so good.
Oh my God, isn't it? It's like it just draws you in.
I'm sorry, I took a big bong hit right before the show started. I'm just right now.
But it's interesting watching the dynamic on it because it's showing how the songs are being created. We're all singing along, waiting for them to get to the part that we know because we know the song so well. And then it's also the dynamic of the band, like how they interacted with each other.
Yeah.
Ringo Starr, he's like, nah, just me over here.
Yeah, he is. Doesn't get involved.
That watching them write the songs is kind of like, come on, you know the words.
Yeah, it's like, come on, Paul, buddy, you can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, you're getting to the bridge. You're almost there.
Yeah,
I know it is. The dynamics were amazing. We've talked about this before. Like, just watching John and Paul. Like, I don't know, there was something like, I don't know why I thought they would be a little bit more kind of like at each other a bit, but they weren't. They were really kind of caring and wonderful to one another.
When they spoke, when they spoke about business, it was very businesslike. But other than that, it was like a friendship.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
totally.
I mean, you see also how like how they approach the music differently, because Paul McCartney had the arrangements in his head already when he came to the table, and John Lennon liked to sort of explore like ideas and things, and you know, he was more of a lyricist, and you can hear his little comments on some of the lyrics. You know, it's just like, well, you know, that's right. It's interesting seeing that. Like,
it's very interesting, and John just seems so kind of like, I don't know, childlike, and I don't know. I have a theory. I maybe shouldn't say it because people like, no, like, I don't know. I have a bit of a theory thinking that Paul was his background was pretty solid, right? Like he, you know, whereas John wasn't. I almost feel like Paul was a little bit kind of took on that role of maybe mother a little bit to John. And then when Yoko came in, you know, obviously John found his other mom, but I think John was just a little bit kind of like trying to find his way, whereas Paul was really kind of just feet on the ground, solid, you know. And I think he just adored John. Like Paul just seemed like he just adored John and tried to care for John. And
well, he was more pragmatic though. Like Paul McCartney's more pragmatic, saying like, and not so businesslike, and John's the artist and Paul is pragmatic, and you can see that dynamic and how it worked together.
Yeah, no kidding. Anyway, we could go on and on.
Just keep talking.
I want to talk about the Janis Joplin show on Friday, and I keep taking the conversation elsewhere. Have you ever heard my radio show on CFCR? I digress like so far that I look at all the talking logs of everybody else. It's like 10 minutes, and mine is like 35 minutes. I'm like, okay, talk less.
That's okay. You should just keep talking.
You are a host, right? Yeah. Also, I didn't mention that you're a host a radio host at CFCR. So you're very comfortable just talking, and you always have been. Just yeah. It's good. It's good. Exactly. Yeah. Relaxed, good conversation. It's awesome.
I don't know if people know this, that the direct connection that you two have to each other. Yeah. Both being from Toronto, going to the conservatory at the same time, and having parents that worked at the CBC
that knew the same time, and likely played together. There's no way that they did not play together.
Yeah, we must have. Yeah, for sure.
And we crossed paths almost inevitably. We crossed paths as kids because all the musicians in Toronto that hung around the studio and the CBC television and CBC, right? Like everybody. All the kids kind of hung out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's this possible way. And it was Johnny came to me after a gig at Half Cut. We were doing a jazz thing, and you came and Jamie Peever was doing sound, and Johnny's like, just came up to me. He's like, you need to meet my wife. I think we have a lot in common.
I know. He told me as soon as he got home too. He's like, you gotta meet Gillian. I'm like, okay.
It was like I was listening to you talk. You know, so
oh my God.
Yeah. So your father,
yes,
his legacy to Canadian music is what were his accomplishments?
Yeah, well, he was a CBC music. He was the music producer from the late 50s actually into the early 60s. He did Don Messer, Tommy Hunter. He wrote all the music for it and did all the scoring and stuff, and into the 70s. But his biggest achievement, I think, is he had 3 record labels, but one was Sound Canada. So he basically, Sound Canada was a record label. He knew that there were no sort of programs to help artists that were trying to get into the music industry. So his record label, he basically would take people like that were trying to get in and they had songs they wanted to share. And he would do an A and B side on a 45. He charged $200 for the recording, for the distribution, for everything. So it was very, very affordable for them. And then he would distribute them to all the radio stations. So I'm not sure what year it was. It was like probably maybe 2001, the same year that Anne Murray was inducted into the Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame. He was inducted into the Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame as an industry builder because he helped a lot of musicians get their career going, including Gordon Lightfoot. So, yeah, my brother and my uncle have lots of stories about that. Oh,
yeah.
Because drove him down to Memphis in his car, like he had a BMW or maybe the Peugeot, I don't know, but he drove him down to Memphis, he and my older brother, and to get his music, because Gordon, we always called him Gordy, so that's what I think. It's like he said, "Oh, Gordy," he said he had these songs, and so he invited me to an open mic. He was playing. They called themselves the Two Tones, I think, and said I got some original songs, because he was a terrible dancer, a good chorister on CBC, but a terrible dancer. My mother said he stepped on her feet all the time, and so Dad went to see him play at this club that was doing an open mic and said, "Frick, your songs are amazing." Grabbed him, took him down to Memphis, and Chet Atkins is on this. Like, it's a small little music family. He records him, and then he comes back to Toronto, knows he can't get him on the radio because he's Canadian and nobody knows who he is. So he basically sent my brother and my uncle to distribute all of these 45s to all the record stores. Then he sent them back to buy them all back. So it was my brother and my uncle that actually went and bought all of Gordon Lightfoot's singles.
Wow.
And the
Yeah,
radio
that's-
stations call, the radio stations call the record store and say, "So what are the kids buying?" And they're like, "Well, this Gordon Lightfoot person, we don't know who he is, but he sold out in every record store." And so they played him on the radio. And then once he got there, my dad knew that it'd be like, wow. That's my story. It's a true story.
Wow,
and
that's
listen
awesome.
and listen up, do-it-yourself musicians who want to make their own records and put them out. These are the kind of shenanigans that rock and roll was built on.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
True.
you got to play the game, right? So
and a clever way to get yourself like listened to. There's no other way he was going to get played on the radio. My dad knew that. So and it's funny, my uncle, my brother we were just talking about this recently, and sending messages, and my uncle's like, "God, I can't remember. I remember like Jeff's car was just packed from the bottom of the floor. We had like 45s falling over our shoulders because like we bought them all."
My gosh. I love it. That's awesome.
And your mom and sisters were the Allen sisters? Is that?
My mom and my aunt were the Allen sisters on Tommy Hunter's show. So they had a regular spot. And because my dad wrote the music and all the rehearsals were at our house. So I grew up with like the Rhythm Pals and Maurice Bollier and Al Cherney, and all these people would be at our house rehearsing. So I kind of grew up in that, with musicians. We were an oddity on our street, though. It was in suburban Toronto. It was in the 60s, the early 70s. So we were like the entertainers, they used to call our house. They're like, "Oh, beware of that house. They're the entertainers on the street."
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
lots of
no
music
kidding.
coming from our house, though. So
yeah. That's so awesome. I love it.
I don't know how much time we have here, because I do want to talk about the Janis Joplin show.
That's what we were going to just ask you about. So tell us about how you're learning the Janis Joplin songs. Like, did you do your own take on them, or did you pretty much learn them to the T? How did it go? How was it?
See, that's a really good question, Leslie, because when I did Joni Mitchell, I knew that I had to get the feel and I had to get the words right. Because the first time, especially when we did it at the basement with Joni Mitchell, there were people there that not only were attached to Joni Mitchell through her music, but also grew up with her. Yeah. And the thing with Joni Mitchell is that there's moments where, like my mother was sick with cancer, and it was Joni that saved me. So you had to get everything right. I had to get the words right. I wasn't pretending to be her, but I had to get her songs right. And with Janis Joplin, it's the same. Janis Joplin's one of a kind. All of her experience in life and her pain and her suffering and her feelings like she was an outcast and wanting to not belong in a stereotypical sense, but just wanting to have that community, wanting to find the love of her life. All of that pain comes out of her music. But the thing that really struck me the most is that she's an improviser. When we were listening to the songs and trying to figure out, we actually had to figure out sort of like which songs we kind of wanted to do, learn the arrangements for, because when she sang and when she did her thing, she climbed inside the music. Her own personal pain came out through it. And so it was different every time. So approaching that catalog, I had to realize it's not going to be like a impersonation, a Janis Joplin impersonation show. It's going to be me, like myself, singing the songs that she did, and trying to express the same emotion that she had, and trying to get in touch with who she was as a person so that I can express the same. But nobody can be Janis Joplin. I hope I didn't say Joni, because nobody can Janis Joplin like Janis Joplin is. If you ever watch her live shows, if you ever watch her on the stage, it was all about the music for her. And every time she sang a song, her whole heart and soul is being wrenched out. And so it's interesting, because I know that I have to get little things right, like little things that people recognize in the famous songs, like in Me and Bobby McGee, or even Summertime. But when you hear like Ball and Chain and all these other songs, like A Cry Baby, she has different versions of them because she emoted herself differently every time. But like, you have to climb inside of that and just like let your soul be wrenched out while you're singing these songs, because she felt like nobody could ever love her, which is crazy. And we have one man that did love her, and that's a sad story, because his letter arrived to her too late, because he was the one that was traveling all over the world all the time. That was the love of her life, and she was the love of his life, but he was always away. He was always gone. And then when he finally realized he wanted to come back to her, he wrote her a letter, but it came too late. And that's the tragedy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no kidding.
Because you hear in every song, she's just looking for that love and that someone just to love me and don't abandon me.
Yeah,
Really,
she was watching her, in live performances. That's what really struck me, because she was just so there. She wasn't thinking about, how do I look, or how. She was just there, raw, and just giving her.
And also the communication with the audience. She wanted the people on stage with her. She wanted them to be dancing. Like, she was all about, I'm expressing this. And she didn't like the barrier between the audience and the performer. She wanted the audience to be right there with her.
Yeah.
And then when she's interviewed, she's just so lovely and unassuming.
Yeah, so sweet and and gentle. Yeah.
She gets on stage and just rips her guts out. It's just like,
no kidding.
I can never be Janis Joplin, but I can certainly climb into her repertoire and her catalog and try to get in touch with the emotion that she was feeling while she was singing those songs. And I also have an incredible band that I'm doing.
Oh yeah, we were gonna ask.
I was gonna hear that. Who's in the band? Like,
well, Fabian Minima's playing drums. We have Dirk DeBoer and Guy Perrin on guitar. We have Jay Methrel on upright, well, I guess electric bass. He usually plays upright bass. And then we have Pete Aldridge on the organ and synthesizer and piano. So it's going to be a good night. It's going to be really fun.
Kidding.
Fun. So
yeah, no kidding. And how long are you playing for? Like, how did you decide what songs to pick?
Is it just the Pearl thing? Is there anything?
No, it's not. And I when we were doing the advertising, doing the promotion and the postering and stuff, I used Pearl because it's the most recognizable sort of like that album. But that album wasn't even released until after she passed away. We actually dived a lot into the Big Brother and the Holding Company. So some of the stuff is sort of from Pearl, but we go back. And a lot of the stuff that we're actually listening to is our live songs. So but Big Brother and the Holding Company is sort of where we're kind of really leaning towards, because they were like messy jazz.
You're right. Yeah, totally.
How did Fabian put it? He goes, they're either the best worst band I've seen or the worst best band. Like, because they're musicians, but but the cool thing is that, especially with that band, because I mean, she also had the Cosmic Blues Band as well that she went to Europe with after she left Big Brother and the Holding Company. But Big Brother and the Holding Company listened to everything she did. That's why you get all these crazy extra measures thrown in, and these what seems to be kind of polyrhythms, but they're not. Like, they're just, she has a form, but then she leaves out a measure, but then she adds a measure. But Big Brother and the Holding Company were listening to everything she was doing. So when they hit those shots, like, they were all together. So it's challenging. It's challenging music.
At what time are you on at?
We start at 10. We're doing 2 sets, 2 45-minute sets.
Okay,
so
cool.
Initially we're going to play 90 minutes, but like, I can't sing Janis Joplin for a night.
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
It would be, yeah, I would be like not even, I would be surpassed Tom Waits. I'd be into the laryngitis probably.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, how are you hitting those notes? Like,
It's,
does it
well,
feel
no, yes.
strained, or is it
Well,
coming from?
coming from a point of view of like from a singing point of view, like she had a very unique style, and I'm not trying to like say that it's good or bad, but when you're thinking about singing and you're using your diaphragm, trying to get all, like, you can't sing here, and if you sang Janis Joplin right
Mm,
here, you wouldn't have a voice, but she
yeah.
sings a lot through her nose. And
Mm,
so
yeah.
basically a lot of the notes, like always when I'm singing, imagine sort of the air kind of coming up and just sort of like that way, because she does a lot of screaming, and you can't just close your throat to scream. You have to kind of imagine the screaming is coming up from the top of your head, if that
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it
And I
does
hope
make
to
sense.
God that the whiskey and the hot tea will kick in and my voice will actually last right to the end.
Yeah, no
Because
kidding.
we saved a very special song close to the end. It's not a surprise or anything, but she covers a Nina Simone song, Little Girl Blue, and we saved it closer to the end because that song really shows how she felt about herself and her life, and how
Mhm.
sad she was, and so, it's a very poignant song. So I'll be very careful keeping my voice intact so I can pull that one off.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it'll be amazing. I'm sure it'll
Yeah.
be awesome. Yeah.
Well,
So,
we're
so
looking
that's
forward to it.
that's Saturday at the
No,
Capitol.
Friday, Friday.
Friday.
Right at the
Friday.
Capitol, and the doors open at 9. Show starts at 10. You can get, I put like events out, Facebook event out and stuff. You can get advance tickets through Eventbrite if you go on the Capitol. I don't know if their website, but if you go to Eventbrite, you
Mhm.
can get tickets in advance. So they're $15 in advance, $20 at the door, and yeah, the show starts at 10. So
Awesome. It's gonna be a great show.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quickly before we move on to Rory's road stories, what are the Whiskey Jerks got coming up?
Oh, the Whiskey Jerks. We don't have actually anything coming up until the new year. So we have a house show in the spring, but it's like, and we have a wedding. But we just played Rock Trout Cafe, which is now an event center in Prince Albert. We just played this like past weekend, and so we've done a couple of shows in the last couple of weeks. We played the Basement, and we also played the 9 Mile. We did a show for Oktoberfest at 9 Mile. But as far as the new year, we have a couple of things coming up, but not till spring so far. But
Yeah, yeah. We have someone asking a question. Rodney is asking a question here. Gillian,
uh,
favorite venue you've played in Saskatoon, past or
That's
present?
well, I have to say my very favorite venue to play is the Basement, and the reason I love the Basement is because it's a listening audience, so I get to talk to
Mm,
the audience, and I mean playing bars as well because I love playing Amigos too. But I mean, you play bars, and actually the Capitol. I can't even think Vangelis. Well, Black Cat, another great venue. Buds, played a lot of them. But the reason why I like the Basement and even the Refinery is because actually people have come, the lights are dimmed, everybody has their drink, and then
and they're sitting down at a table, and yeah,
it's
yeah,
more of a show. So
yeah.
that's the venues. Basement is my favorite venue, hands down.
Cool, cool.
Yeah. And you?
What's
What are
our
your?
favorite?
Yeah.
Uh,
You play
I'm not.
everywhere.
I'm not. I love them. I love them all very dearly, and I
that's a good answer.
have gratitude for them providing a place for musicians to play. So,
That's true. Yeah, and there's some great
we'll play.
clubs here in
We'll play
Saskatoon.
anywhere
You're
we
right,
want
Buds.
and
Buds
have a
is a
good
great
time.
rock club, and
Yeah, they're
Amigos is a
all
great.
awesome.
Yeah, they're all awesome.
Whenever I
We
talk
used
to
to.
friends, I'm
we
just saying
played-
Saskatoon has so many live music venues, so many bars support live music. It's
Thank
incredible.
goodness.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
used to play at
Well,
we used to play at Crackers, the karaoke bar, and set up on the
I
little
played
dance
there.
floor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it was
I played
like it had a lot of really fun nights. So it's just
there. Yeah,
it's where you bring it, man. So it's like
Yeah.
that's true.
wherever.
Thanks for your question, Rodney. It's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Gillian, for coming on the show. And everybody just head over to the Capitol on Friday night at 9 o'clock and see Gillian sing Janis Joplin. I bet you it's going to be amazing. So, yeah, awesome. Thanks,
Thank
Gillian.
you. No, thank you. No, thanks for having me on the
Love
show.
you.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
Love you
it's been
too.
awesome.
See ya.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's going to be a great show. So I
Yeah.
hope everybody heads out. What have we got coming up now?
Whatever she's always entertaining to watch and hear sing and stuff.
Oh, no
so
kidding.
You can't go wrong.
No, you
Yeah.
can't. Exactly. Now what we've got coming up is a little, what do we call it? Segment that we have been having for the last few weeks here, and it's Rory's Road Stories.
So tonight apparently is a part 2 from last week.
That's right. So you have to watch last week too, maybe.
Yeah.
That's right. So Rory,
unless we have a spoiler alert.
Oh yeah.
Go back.
Oh, that's true.
Should we do a recap of part 1?
No, I don't know. You got to go back and watch the other one. Oh, look it.
Somebody decided he wanted to join.
Aw.
How about you go? No.
Aw, so sweet. Our kitty cat didn't eat his breakfast this morning. We were a little worried about him. He usually eats like a crazy cat, and he hasn't been that hungry today, so we don't know what's going on. Anyway, Rory,
Okay.
both of you,
You
what's
gotta
your
go.
cat's name?
This is George, also known as Senor Meow.
Rory and George, let's hear your road story.
So
George
week,
doesn't have to go anywhere. George can stay.
all right, you can stay if you're happy there, sir. So last week I had mentioned that I've had bad luck with traveling to Manitoba to play big rock festivals. I talked about Minnedosa Rock Fest last week, and the next time that I went to Manitoba to do a festival was in the first or second iteration of Power Slave. At the time, Power Slave was an Iron Maiden tribute, a full-on Maiden tribute, and we were booked to play something called the Edge Fest or the X Fest in Brandon, Manitoba. It was a 3-day festival. There was a big, just past their prime headliner every day. We were there to play on the third and final day, and the headliner for the day was Three Doors Down, most famous for, I think only famous for Kryptonite. And so anyways, when we arrived at the festival site, we were told that everything was running behind. They had to strike the entire stage and the PA system, even though for the last 2 days of the festival, everything was great. Other headliner bands had done their shows. Three Doors Down said that the stage was not up to their standards and the PA system was not up to their standards. And they refused to play until the stage was completely struck. The PA system and the stage was all replaced with all new staging that had to be trucked in from Winnipeg. That was caused a little bit of a problem, a little bit of a delay. So one by one, bands kept getting bumped as the day kept going on, because you don't just tear down an entire stage and PA system and put up a whole other one instantly. So we ended up getting bumped, and we were a little bummed about that, but they paid us, so at least we got paid, and they gave the rest of the guys in the band as many free drinks as they wanted, so they were in no hurry to leave. But yeah, it was ridiculous. The fellas from Three Doors Down, you guys have played big festivals way more than I ever have, and you know how they have the backline truck right up at the stage, so you can, amps, drums,
Sure.
off and on the stage for quick changeovers. Three Doors Down's lead vocalist made them move the truck 100 yards away, because where it was parked up at the stage was where he wanted the food truck for his personal chef.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So yeah.
Love
Oh, when the show finally started, between sets, guys had to run 100 yards over to where the backline truck was to be able to do changeovers and stuff. That was pretty silly. And then sort of the pièce de résistance for the dude obviously thought he was in early 80s Van Halen mode or something, because he found the brand of porta potties in the backstage area were not the brand that he wanted. So they had to be removed, and again, the proper brand of porta potty had to be trucked in from Winnipeg. And then he needed 2 for himself. They had signs on them that they were for his express use only.
One for pee, one for poo.
And it's like Kryptonite had already been a big hit and gone by this point, and they weren't even like charting anymore. Yet the dude was like totally figured he was like the Van Halen M&M's no brown M&M's thing on his rider.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Hey, I can't believe 2 porta potties though.
2 porta potties. One for each cheek.
One for number 1 and one for number 2.
That was totally just a flex, obviously. It's like, I don't need it, but I can get away with insisting on it.
Yeah. So you gotta
Yes.
think,
I wonder how he's doing
you
now.
gotta think that either someone in his organization really hated the promoter, or the promoter was notorious for not paying attention to requirements.
Maybe.
You know. But anyways,
I don't know.
that's
But
rock and roll.
holy moly. That's rock and roll.
That's rock and roll.
And that's another Rory story.
Yeah. Well, he witnessed that, so. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
It makes it easier to believe every other story you hear.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Oh, what did Rodney say?
Only in Manitoba, eh?
Yeah, that's why I'm never going back. At least not for a festival. I'll go back and I'll play a gig, but I'm not doing a festival again. I have never played a festival in Manitoba. I have been booked more than a few times. I've got there, but I have still yet to play a festival in Manitoba.
They don't know it, but they're just not ready for you. So
Apparently not.
there's some sort of cosmic reason.
Well, make sure that you guys go check out Rory's band and, many bands, and Rory's
his
recording.
Solo act.
Yeah.
Seen with Power Slave.
Yeah. And Midlife Crisis is the name of his EP.
Yeah. So your website is rorylawford.com. I saw a social media post today of a subway car with the poster in there.
Yeah.
That was good. I like that.
Fun with Photoshop.
Yeah.
Awesome.
How's it going?
So far, so good. Having fun.
Right on.
It's all a learning experience.
Yeah. So if you haven't heard it yet, go on any streaming or digital service, download or stream Rory's EP Midlife Crisis. Local legend, Saskatoon musician. If you like some good hard rock and stuff.
Awesome
go
singer,
check it
awesome
out.
guitar player.
Yeah, and songwriter. Happy
And
to have
come
him
see
here.
Power Slave. Come see Power Slave play. We have a pretty darn cool bass player in that band.
Oh yeah, right.
I saw
What's
them.
that kind of face?
They were awesome. Thanks so much for coming on the show, Rory.
We'll see you
We'll
next
see you
week.
next week for some
Yeah,
more stories from you.
Next week.
All right. You guys
Next
take
week,
good care.
Okay.
We will, man.
See you,
Stay
Rory.
warm. Stay warm. Stay safe.
Yep.
You too. All right. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's going on around town? We got a show wrap now. Somewhere else pub.
On Friday, Vinny the Hiss with Brian D. McCarthy. On Saturday, a man called Chesterfield. Remember that prank
And
phone call?
no, was it with Chesterfield?
Hello, do you have a Chesterfield there? Why, yes. Well, this is Mr. Field. Would you please send him home?
Oh, I get the refrigerator running one.
Yeah, it's the same era.
Oh,
So
okay. And at Bud's this weekend, Friday and Saturday.
back to the 80s.
Coolio. And
And Friday, it's a celebration for Kevin Sick's birthday.
oh, right.
It's a big one for him. So
Oh, so there's a party at Bud's on Friday night. Friday, right?
he said he didn't want gifts, but I'm sure he'll take them.
Cool.
No, he didn't even say he didn't want gifts. I didn't even ask him. I just made that up.
Okay. Friday at the Capitol Club is Gillian Snider singing Janis Joplin, Pearl. So go check that out. The doors are at 9:00 and Gillian hits the stage at 10 p.m. And then, what have we got here? Oh, the basement.
Friday, Funk Joint.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Saturday, Jack Semple solo. So I imagine there'd be some nice guitar playing there.
And Sunday is
Jeffrey Straker, A Very Merry Christmas. We had Jeffrey on the show.
that'd be nice.
That was a lot of fun talking to him.
Yeah.
He's always entertaining.
Oh, he's so much fun. And then at the Pink Cadillac at McLaughlin, Saturday.
Mike and Dave.
Mike and Dave, very just straightforward name.
Mike and Dave.
Mike and
could
Dave.
Be any, could be any Mike, could be any
I
Dave.
knew a Mike and Dave that played together. Remember?
That's right. Mike and Dave.
Mike Dankert and Dave Antonacci.
Yeah, Mike and Dave.
And then on 8th
what
Street.
about that song, These Are the Daves I Know?
Yeah, that's right. The Pink Cadillac on 8th Street, Saturday.
Memory Lane.
And that's it around town for now. And if you're a club and you got something going on, just let us know. Email us at the GreenRoom YXE at noyxe.com. And we just want to thank our guests, Gillian Snider and Rory Lawford, for coming on the show. It was so much fun. And we're gonna do a little shameless self-promotion ourselves.
Those two guests tonight made this just like the easiest show.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
It's like,
yeah, I know. It just goes, it just goes by way too quick. So we have a band called Universal Honey, and we have a Christmas album out now. So go check that out. You can go to universalhoneyband.com or just look for us on your streaming and digital platforms. And I'm going to promote some other No YXE shows right now. Be sure to check out, like Tuesdays are the day and night for No YXE shows for their channel. We're going to start with Tuesdays called Coffee Break.
Coffee Break YXE at 10 a.m.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. Let's Chat YXE at 11 a.m. every second week.
I don't know. Maybe it is not. Maybe it is every week
every
now.
Second week.
I don't know.
YXE Sports Podcast. Say that fast 5 times.
You're good at doing that stuff.
YXE Sports Podcast. YXE. That's at 6 p.m. And In Focus, the blurriest game show ever. In Focus YXE Tuesday at 7 p.m. And then us at 8 p.m.
Right. So
we're like Letterman.
That's right. We're at the end of the night. If you're an artist and you have something coming up, be sure to email us at the GreenRoom YXE at noyxe.com. So I hope you guys all have a great week. And
peace out.
Yeah, that's about it. Keep rocking and rolling.
Stay warm.